thankful that we got something that's also on real. We got it's real as it gets. So real, 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 real. So real, real, real. Welcome to the Oh, I'm so thankful that we got something that's also on real. It's real as it gets. So real, 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 real. So real. Welcome to the huddle. Each one teach one. Each one reach one. We all we got. We all we need. What we got is so real. Oh, I'm so thankful that we got something that's also real. What we got is real as it gets. So real, so real. Oh, I'm so thankful that we got something that's also real. Welcome to the huddle, where we got something that's also real. And if you're in the huddle, then you already know you all so real. Each one teach one. Each one reach one. If you are that one, then you got to know that you are enough. You are enough to fight the good fight when everything is going wrong. You are enough to get it all right. Welcome. Want to give a shout out to my executive producer, who just happens to be my wardrobe coordinator, who I'm so thankful is to be my wife. I say, baby, what I'm wearing today? She said, well, I want you to go with that navy blue and black. That's real official. She said, I want you to be official tonight. But the most powerful thing, a part of my wardrobe tonight, she gave me something real. She gave me a new set of spiritual eyes. She said, baby, I want you to wear these tonight. And she said, you do me one thing before you get started. You clean them out. And one thing about these spiritual eyes, see, when you see with your spiritual eyes, you got to close your eyes to truly see it. See how that work? Yeah. So I'm wearing these tonight for her, baby. These are my spiritual eyes. I see it clear through these. Want to give a shout out to my homegirl, the greatest co-host in the world. Alexa, tell me something good.
We all we got. We all we need.
Alexa, what is the most powerful music in the world?
Good Soul by Trab P.
Alexa, who is the master?
The Honorable Trab P.
Alexa, one time.
Good God Almighty, Trab P, you blanking.
Oh, she locked in and she ready to go. That's how we just run the play. They said you got to run the play in the pregame. Now we ready. She ready. And we all ended with this. So she let me know. Alexa, I love you.
Thanks for saying I love you. You're just as sweet as pie. Know that I'll be here for you. As always, your trusty AI.
Boom! We like to start off every show with a hero hymn. The hero hymn is the mighty hymn within me, the mighty spirit within me. We know that spirit means wind. Spirit means to breathe. We breathe through our respiratory system. As I take in the mighty wind, and it travels through my respiratory system. And as I exhale it past my vocal cords, it causes a vibration that we know as sound. When you feel that, just as much as you hear that sound, that is when we connect in the heroes. Tonight I want to introduce myself to anybody who may be experiencing the huddle for the first time. My name is Trav P, and I'm a black man. There's things about me that some people just can't understand. See, I can be anything that I wanna be. But as a black man, it seems to be harder for me. I know I'm smart. I know I'm smooth. I know I got what it takes. But there's so many things in this here world designed to make me brave. But if you're not a black man, there's no way you can really understand what it takes and feel like to be a black man. But just think about all of the things that we go through, and yet we still beside you. We stand in this thing as real. Real men, real heroes, real fathers. I introduce myself in representation of every brother and sister who understands what we come here to do every Thursday. Welcome to the huddle. May you feel the spirit. Tonight's word is a powerful word tonight. Tonight's word is leader. I heard a conversation the other day where a question was asked. And I've heard this question over and over. Some people seem to know an answer and some people don't. But the question is, why aren't there any more leaders in today's time like there was during a period of time such as the civil rights? Why hadn't there been any great recognized leaders collectively amongst us as like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X? Why aren't there any more leaders? Who is your leader? Who do you lead? Alexa, what is the meaning of leader?
A leader is someone who guides and directs a group towards a common objective, inspiring and motivating them to achieve success. They are in charge of setting the vision and direction for the group. Leaders are role models who influence others through their actions and words.
Leaders are role models who influence others through their actions and words. Someone who motivates, inspires others to achieve their goals. I had a conversation at work last week that made me chew on this here word. I was talking to someone else who represents a level of leadership on the job. And me and this person got a history. When I first came to this job, I was 28 years old. Only had one job in my life. I worked my way up to be the leader of that job. I was the first shift supervisor / department manager at 28 years old, traveling corporate. to truly talk about the paper industry. As I lost that job and I moved on to this new job, the only second job I ever had, there was a guy who was in position to be a leader. But he was intimidated by me because my character was more than his position in leadership. So every time he would come around me, I could feel the frustration, the intimidation. And it became a factor where he always had to show his name badge, to show his position, so that we could establish in this here context, you may naturally be a leader, but in this here thing, I'm the leader because it's my position. "15 years later, I'm having a conversation last week with the same individual. He said, in order to get the people to really respect you on the floor, you can't eat with them. They'll never respect you if you eat with them." And this thing sent shockwaves through me. One, because there's truth to what he said in the context of working at work. But one thing about work in this context, see, when you at work and some people become good workers, they get promoted in the ranks of leadership. But every hard worker ain't a good leader. Just because someone is efficient in the job doesn't make them a leader. And when someone isn't efficient in being a leader, they don't understand motivation, inspiration. They don't understand to lead through actions and words, to truly connect with someone, to inspire them to be better, to feel the importance of what we're here for. So that's null and void. But here a man talking to a natural born leader, say you can't eat with him. So I began to chew on this for like 2-3 days. I found myself in the Bojangles drive-thru, looking through the window at the manager over the shift with an arrogance of leadership that said, you can't eat with them and make them respect you. I say it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You can't eat with the people if you want them to respect you. This is the ideal of modern day leadership. And if you want someone to feel that they can't eat with you and you can't eat with them, to establish respect, see, being a leader is about the people. That's why we don't have any more leaders, because nobody is about the people anymore. I'm going somewhere. Ride with me tonight, y'all. As I've been chewing on this, I woke up this morning. I shared it on my page. Blair Underwood's genealogy episode, where he traced his roots about who are you. There's a mighty, mighty power that's invested in me, just like it's invested in you. I travel to understand who I am. So I've done my genealogy. I've done my family tree. So I'm looking at Blair Underwood. He's chasing his tree. He's chasing his genes. And he got to a point, he called it a brick wall. He said, darn, I hit the brick wall tracing myself. Then he got a break in the brick wall. He had a great-great-great-grandfather that was a free man back in early 1800s, late 1700s. They said, well, slavery wasn't over. How could he be a free man? Talking about leadership now, follow. So he went to digging through the course record, through the census, and he found out that in 1806, in the state of Virginia, Virginia freed 1,800 slaves. This was 60-something years before slavery ended. They freed these slaves under one condition. Under one condition. That you got a year to get out of Virginia. If you're not out of the state of Virginia within 1 year, you are subject to go back into slavery. I'm like, wow, this is deep. This is deep. So he found a grandfather that was free. And he looked down on it. He had 2 slaves. So going through this journey of finding out who I am, tracing the leadership characteristics, I've always heard, well, it was black slave owners. They had slaves too. I heard some narrative say all blacks wasn't slaves. So I'm sitting here, I'm getting an understanding. I'm on the cusp of an understanding. So Blair Underwood's great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, who was free black people in the latter 1700s, owned slaves. And as they began to dig, it wasn't slaves, it was their family. When they freed 1,800 black African slaves, there were some that emerged to be the leaders of these people. When you're a leader, you're for the people. So as those leaders emerged to get their own land, to get their own farm, they knew that their family didn't have means to get out of Virginia. Within a year's time, if you wasn't out of the state of Virginia, then you would go back into slavery. So the leaders amongst each family, each plantation, in a year's time bought back their family. They began a lineage of free blacks in America during slavery. But when you understand your position and how this thing works as a leader, see, on paper, it could be one thing. That's why you got to have something real to understand what you read. Because I've heard ignorant conversations and arguments about, well, blacks owned slaves too, but they were their family. And through the context of business and work and paperwork and laws, it looked like what it needed to look like, but it was leaders who were stepping up for the people to fight it on that level. But when we don't understand that, see, I'm going back to a leader and I'm going back to at work. See, at work, on a job, the mentality of being a leader is you can't eat with your workers because they won't respect you. Alexa, what is the meaning of a supervisor?
A supervisor is someone who oversees the work of others, guiding and supporting them to ensure tasks are completed efficiently. The term can refer to low-level management positions or individuals without a specific title who supervise workplace activities.
An overseer. See how this works? Not a leader, but an overseer. Alexa, what is the meaning of boss?
Boss can mean a person in charge, someone who manages or supervises workers, or someone who is in control. In a work context, the boss is the person who runs a team or group.
See, everybody wants to be supervisors and bosses. They want to have authority. Nobody wants to be a leader. That's why we have none. Everybody wants to be a boss. Everybody wants to be a supervisor. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying that's what everybody want to be. But do we understand what we want to be? See, as I began to look at this story, I realized that in the South, the slave owners were simply business owners. In the South, the biggest business was agriculture. In the South, the ones who had the most land were subject to be in the agriculture business. And if you were in the agriculture business, you had to have worker. Well, the system was set up in a workers type way that's why they brought the transatlantic slave trade here to produce workers in the agriculture concept. So they were just simply business owners doing business. And there were some leaders that emerged out of the darkness of slavery that began to be free enough to do their own business. And because they understood how the business worked, they bought back their own family. And on paper, it showed they owned them. But they ate with them because they were their family. So the question is, why don't we have any leaders? Because the leaders are for the people. We ain't for the people no more. This rocked me so hard. I called some of my brothers who acting part as my therapist. When I say therapist, I'm talking about my friends, because a friend is somebody that you can simply, sincerely talk to. Shout out to my brother Trey. I say, Brother Trey, why does this keep on grinding on me so much? He said, partly because you know it's true. And two, he worked with me for 13 years. He said, I watch the system go at you every day because you're truly for the people. So just as much as you know it's true, you also know a lot of your frustration comes to the very reason that you won't get the respect you deserve as far as importance in a room of power. And you probably won't be the richest in the room because you're for the people and what you're doing is true. So what he see is a means of them not respecting me is what he see as respect. And he see no fear and no intimidation. But what he don't understand when I'm eating with my people, I'm inspiring them, encouraging them, personally and business-wise, to be the best that they can be. Because if they be the best that they can be, they are a reflection of me as a leader. But we don't have that mindset. See, we have the mindset of the master and the overseer. We want to be a boss. We want to be the supervisor. We don't come to lead, we come to manage. So you manage things, you lead people. You manage things, you lead people. You manage things. You lead people. I've been chewing on this here leadership thing. Real life shit. I told my wife the other day, we was talking about this leadership thing. How this thing rocked me. And when Trey told me, he said, Trav, you can't be for the people, man, and expect popularity and all those things, man. That ain't how it worked today. He said, I'm going to take your words and use it against you. This ain't about good or bad. This ain't about right or wrong. This just about how it worked, Trav. He said, I think you comfortable with being for the people. I think you understand what come with it. I went to that paper mill at 18. I was a leader. Not to sound egotistic, but from elementary, the student council president, junior high, MVP, high school, MVP. Get my first job out of high school. New young guy. Worked his way all the way up to be the greatest, to be the boss. But during the process of becoming and being, it's deep, man. I remember being 23 years old, a 21-year-old homeowner, and I got brotherhoods and unclehoods and fatherhoods with men that work with me that's in their 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s that would come to a 23-year-old house and spend time and hang out. And I look back to say, man, I don't see that nowhere today. Man, God Almighty, at 44 years old, I try to imagine myself knowing a younger me. And not to make it sound like I'm anything more than you. Because in that, the people that came to see me were just as much leaders as I was. They taught me a lot. But I'm looking at how it works to why we don't have any leaders anymore. Leader is synonymous to father. Family is a mother or father in their children. Alexa, what is the meaning of family?
Family is a social unit consisting of parents and their children, either living together or not, typically related by blood. It can also describe someone who is not related by blood but is closely associated with the family.
So when we talk about family and we get into what family is, let's keep this shit and put it in context. Family is a mother, a father, and a child. And in the order of family comes leadership and being a leader. When I see another man who's in the order of position of being a leader, leading his woman and his children in the concept of family and God, then you start to operate as a man amongst men. So when we say, Trav, why aren't there any more leaders as there was in the civil rights era? Because no one is standing up with a real voice, saying something real. And the only thing that's real and worthy of speaking on is a man standing in his posture to protect, provide, and honor his wife and his children. And even if a man ain't got that, he understands what it is to support and be a part of any other man that has it. And when we ain't leading to that, when you look back in the civil rights movement, all these were families leading to a particular point of equality of a quality of life for their families, for their children. We don't have a common point that we're going to. So there's no one to lead us any damn well. An old saying say, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So all we're doing now is leading to try to be the overseer or the master. And get a little something and have a little something and say, how dare I eat with them their people? They are beneath me. I am no longer for the people. And I say this, man, so empathetically to those that depend on these people who say I shall not eat with them. I'm talking real life. I ain't talking make-believe. Every chance I get to go to a school board meeting, a community meeting, a city council meeting, any meeting with anybody of power who represents leadership, I go all out of bounds with passion to tear down the walls of classism, to show when you for the people, man, the soul can keep no secret that behavior won't reveal. And when you for the people, man, your actions and your words don't go unnoticed. And your inspiration and motivation don't go unnoticed. And the people will push you on to blaze the trail. See, that's how that works. But if you ain't for the people, then you can't be no leader. And if there's no people, there is no leader. So that's just simple as that. Had some powerful experiences this week, man. Just reflect. I thought about as a leader, being in the game, talking with other leaders in the locker room, in the huddle. I want to use this analogy to make this point, because we always know anything derogatory. We can see it all off the cape. I was watching a movie and they was talking about the drug cartel and how a drug cartel works. And how a drug cartel works, what makes the cartel, there's a group of bosses that come together and put all the resources together to create a system that will sufficiently supply and keep all of these bosses going. Everybody sit at the table of a cartel has power and power behind them. But the only rule to sitting at this table as the cartel is, we respect each one at this table. And no one tries to put another in their box. We only understand the context of this table means we come together and build. Don't disrespect me by implying you bigger than me or more than me. We can go to war behind that. So when you're talking about leadership, when you're talking about being a man, and you're talking about being a father, and you're talking about being a husband, when you sit at the table with any man or any woman, with your wife, y'all represent a block, a building block. And dare not no man play these games. In mutual respect, as a man to man, we can build together, my brother. And in real life, this is what creates a community. In my community, I have a sense of pride, a sense of unity for my family. My neighbors understand that. We are a reflection of each other. Their neighbor understand that. From the time you enter the gate of our community, you see something in common between everybody that live here. We are building blocks. that creates a reality. See how that works? So when you at work, regardless of where you work, you understand you represent a block. There's people within your block that depend on you. You're at work for a fair exchange, a job, a service, a skill. You're compensated. You take that compensation and you apply it to your block to sustain, maintain, strengthen, and build your block. Within that context, nobody at the table dare not disrespect you and imply to put you in a box or in a block or a box. So I said all that to say, no matter what level in life I may be perceived, I respect a man when a man is a man, being a man, in the position of a man and a woman, regardless of where we're eating at. And if you understand that, then you be that. And if you be that, you will be the leader that you are divine to be. At least you will lead your woman and your children. At least, as a woman, you will lead your children and train them the ways to follow the order and respect the man that paves the way. I'll get out of here. Who do you lead? Are you a leader? Why haven't we had any more leaders? I wrote a song in 2016 say, I want to be a great American hero. I want to be upheld by my people. Ain't it about time for a new hero? Somebody gotta take a stand for our people. Ain't it about time? Ain't it about time for a new hero? Somebody gotta take a stand for our people. This is Hero Training. Every week. Because it's about time for a new hero. And if I ain't the flame to burn, I'm okay with being the spark that light the flame that burns. This is what Hero Training is about. I love you. I love you. I swear I do, man. I love you, man. Want to give a shout out, man. Want to give a shout out to my boy King. King, I love you, man. I'm yelling it so he can hear me. Just as much as I'm saying that on the show. We had a deep week. I thought I was in, but I won't say this because this is about leadership. This past week, man, I was in the game of father, being a father. My son said he determined to be a monster next year for football. So I got the intentions to lead him, show him the way. Got him a good old bench for his room, workout bench. All my intentions were there. I said, oh yeah. I said, boy, finna have a whole gym in this room. Got all the access to be a monster. Pull it out. First thing he said, I ain't want that in my room. I snapped. And I snapped hard. But as I had to gather myself and I had to ask myself, Trav, why you snap? And I went and talked to him. I said, let me tell you why I snapped. I said, because you don't know what you need to be a monster. been a monster. I'm trying to give you all the ways of the monster that you are. It's in you. So before you even understand what you need or what you want, and you come off with that little spoiled punk ass shit, I see you made me roar, son. I said, so stop being ungrateful or coming off ungrateful. Be patient enough to be led to be a monster. We had that conversation. I said, do you understand? I said, yeah. I said, we're going to do it right. Had to have a conversation. And I realized at that moment, one thing about being a father, one thing about being a leader, is when you in the game comes at you fast. And it's coming hot. Don't let it put you on your ass. But we can talk about it. But the only way you understand how it works is to get in the game and work it. And when you realize you working it with all your intentions and you leading, man, by your actions and your words. See, them the type of conversations I ain't getting when a motherfucker was going crazy. So it's been a powerful week, and that's why I want to give them a shout out. Because I ain't never been a 14-year-old, 6 feet tall, handsome, with a glow-ass little boy daddy, young man daddy. I ain't never been that before in my life. So I'm learning like he learned. But I'm the leader. I'm the leader. And I got to talk to him and listen to what he say and how he feel. In the same way I do that, I got to take that understanding and those characteristics, and I got to go to work, man. And I got to respect everybody that I counter as a human, as somebody who real, who's there for the same reason that I'm there. Even though they may not make as much as I make, they're there for a reason. And I respect that reason enough to be real. We're going to get out of here. I love you. Hold me down.